Yo, welcome back to Kai Speaks, bro. I appreciate all the love and support y'all been showing on these videos, man. We've been growing every single day. This channel's continuing to grow. I'm loving making these content for y'all, loving the engagement in these videos, being able to see people grow from these videos, bro. Our shorts, our TikToks, our reels are slowly growing every single day. We're starting to pull in more views on that, and it's crazy to me, but I know because of the time frame in between, and I'm sure we're starting to reach out to more people. First, one thing I want to talk about with TikTok being gone soon, I don't know if like what's going to go on with that, but with TikTok being gone, hopefully I can make that transition from TikTok pulling maybe the most amount of views I have to Reels and my YouTube Shorts, mainly Instagram Reels, because those are the things that like pull the least amount of views is those Reels. So however I can find a way to engage with more people and get out there more in order to pull in some more views for the reels. But I'm slowly learning that, and we're gonna get into that. But today I wanted to talk about one of the biggest things that I'm learning as far as this entrepreneur journey so far, bro, is that life is going to do anything in its way to get you down in a sense. There's gonna be a lot of things that you just feel like you don't deserve. You're gonna lose a lot. Um and you're not really gonna know the reasons why you lose until you start making it again. And I say this because after coming from, and this is in my trading channel, but I'll talk about it because this is what I'm mainly talking about. After coming from a loss that's making me almost about to lose my account, my funded account, after realizing the mistake that it was, I wouldn't have realized that mistake unless I lost, right? And I think that's one of the biggest things along this journey is that a lot of these L's that I am taking are L's that I need to take in order to learn, in order to get to that next level of success, and things that I need to be able to take in and just realize that there's something bigger on the other side of this. Because I'm at a certain point right now, and I'm sure a lot of y'all don't know this, but I'm at a certain point at trading where a lot of people don't get, right? Like I'm starting to get to a point where, you actually make money from it. And that's a point where, a lot of people don't get the luxury of making money off of trading, or they quit too early, or, they never get that chance to make money from it. Right. And for me to even be able to take two payouts this year has been huge because I've come from nothing, not making anything from these trades to now I'm making, you know, thousands of dollars within minutes, right? And I feel like in this craft, you need to learn your mistakes. You need to learn that before you get into the big game, because that's when you start making a lot of money and that's when you start losing a lot more money. So I feel like all this is necessary in order for me to get to that next level, in order for me to be able to succeed at another level. Because what I'm trying to achieve is something that isn't really heard of. It's not something that too many people do. And, I'm trying to achieve huge things from it. And I feel like in order for me to do that, I need to be able to take losses, and just be able to learn from all of them, bro. I think that's one of the biggest things that I've literally like throughout this past month, really couple months, that I've learned so far is that if you don't lose, you'll never learn, bro. And I make this a huge point because it's been something that's been so big to me lately. Even when I listen to podcasts, I've been hearing it so much, um, that like if you don't lose, you'll never learn, bro. And it took me a while to really know what that meant by just actually losing and still learning from it, right? And I say this because sometimes when you lose, you feel like you fail and you feel like it's over. You feel like everything's against you. You feel like, nothing will ever go right. But the biggest thing is that a lot of those losses you need to take and they're set in your path, right? Um, like if you don't take a lot of the like if I didn't take the loss that I took yesterday, right, I would have never knew what was the problem. Like why wasn't I winning? Why was I losing so much money? Right. And I feel like until I got that loss, I finally realized that okay, I know what I'm doing wrong. Right. And that's gonna help me elevate. That's gonna help me achieve new numbers, higher numbers than I were before. And you know what's gonna happen when I achieve those higher numbers? I'm most likely gonna lose again. Right. I'm gonna lose something again. And when I lose something, I'm going to end up learning something else that's going to make me even better. And I say this because I'm still young, right? Like I'm only 19, still going through an entrepreneur journey. And, I'm making money off of it. I'm making a decent amount of money off of being an entrepreneur, being a day trader. And I really feel like, you get to a point where it's like you're making this much money and you're like, wow, I'm on top of the world, this and that. But life humbles you. God humbles you, and he really makes you realize that in order for you to get to that next level of success, you need to be able to have the traits of becoming of a successful person, right? And no matter how hard you work on them, they're gonna, you're gonna fail every now and then, right? Like you're gonna show some greed, you're gonna show some envy, and it's gonna hold you back in a sense. But when I finally realized that God put me on this path in order for me to fix myself, he wants me to fix myself first before I try to chase this money, before I try to chase the riches, before I try to chase the wealth. He wants me to fix myself first. And as I'm fixing myself, I will slowly start to see the money come, because that's the type of profession that I'm in. I feel like, and that goes with anything, right? I feel like with a lot of people who are in the clothing brand industry, the content creator industry that are making a lot of money, the real estate industry, whatever it is, if you're in that field of business and you have all these problems, you lust a lot, you're greedy, you're envious of people, you slowly start to see that, like, that you lose a lot more than you win. And that's because you need those losses to realize, what are your mistakes, how can I fix these mistakes, right? And you need to always know the problem, right? And I think that's one of the biggest things that I've been going through for these past months. And I really feel like that's why these past months have been so bad, is to humble me in order to get me back in check and realize that, okay, what I'm doing isn't easy. What I'm doing is something that a lot of people won't ever get to do it in their lives, right? Like, to make this much money on a computer screen and, be able to actually see it in real life now, it's huge, bro. But like, it's such a life learning lesson, because I feel like even if I do lose again, right, I'm just gonna learn from it. I'm always learning from these losses, and that's what's gonna continue to help me grow throughout this journey, bro. I really wanted to talk about this, and the reason why I wanted to talk about this so bad is, like I said, is because of how much has been happening. Like, these past 2 weeks, really this whole month so far has just been rough. Like, this month has not been good for me. There's been a lot of things that happened to me where I'm just like, dang, like I can't catch a break almost, right? But at the same time, I don't think I was doing everything in my power to, one, avoid those mistakes, and two, I wasn't doing everything in my power to get better, right? And I think that's what put me back in check. That's what made me humble, is that when you don't put yourself in check, when you don't make sure that everything's fine, when you're just lollygagging, thinking everything's easy being an entrepreneur, when you touch that first, amount of money in your hands from your entrepreneurship, then you start to realize that's when the losses come in. And that's when the hard days come in. That's when a lot of things start to get you down. And one of the biggest things that I want to talk about today was that, and this is huge, whether you're religious or not, and just really think about it, right? One of the biggest things that I realized is that the devil will never mess with you when you're doing evil deeds, when you're doing these bad deeds, right? Like, he'll never mess with you because you're already in a bad place, right? But it's when you're doing really good, you're successful, you're following the path of God, you're doing everything in your power to be the best you. That is when you go through your most challenges, because that's when the devil's trying to get you back down. That is when you're at your highest. That's when a lot of things can't even really affect you for real. So that's when the devil does his work the most, is when you're up. That's when you have the worst days. That's when you have a lot of these dumb challenges that you feel like, oh, why am I going through this, right? Like, that's when you go through a lot of those times when, life is just rough, you can't get a break, and things are just going wrong, right? But it's how you've gotten to a point where you're growing past you're growing past what you used to be. That's how you're getting to another level of success, is when a lot of things are starting to happen in order to make you fail, right? But at the end of the day, if you work on yourself, if you work with your relationship with God, if you work on the little things you do, like lust, envy, and greed, if you work on that while becoming an entrepreneur, you will be successful, bro. You will be on the top of your game, and you'll realize that. But man, I'll end that video there, bro. Like I said, this is something that was really big on my heart, and it's a message that I kept getting day in and day out, whether it was my motivation app, whether it was the podcast I was listening to, even the books that I read. Like, you'll always see it come up. So I figured I'd tell y'all that. And I'm sure a lot of people are also going through a rough time, but I just want y'all to know, if you're going through a rough time while you're up, just know it's for a reason. It's for you to learn, so that way when you get to a higher level, you can maintain that, right? You're not going to make a lot of the same dumb mistakes you made while you were low. But Man, that's it for this video, bro. I hope y'all love this video, man. This might be one of my favorite videos, bro, just because, it was something so real to me and it was something so personal that's happened recently, right? That's happening here and now. But, man, I hope y'all enjoyed this video, man. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Follow me in my socials at KaiSpeaks05, where I show you my whole entrepreneur journey and my content journey, bro. And make sure if you're interested in my day trading journey, which I talked about in this video, make sure you check out Kai Academy 05, where I post daily and I post all about my trades, whether it's win, lose, or break even day, bro. But I hope y'all enjoyed this video, man. I hope you make the most at 2025. Peace.